Parkin, what about this atmosphere pre-kickoff?
Yeah, everything Moose and Darren Ferguson were discussing there rings true, doesn't it? It's a brilliant atmosphere, it's a brilliant evening for football. It looks every bit a playoff semi-final night. The sun is still shining, balloons, yellow and blue balloons, loads of them are to our right hand side. As you said, the Peterborough United fans in brilliant voice before even the players took to the turf. So it's a fantastic night. You can feel the excitement, and the players will be excited about this as well. Some of them won't have experienced it before in their careers. They're great occasions, and they're nights you don't want the atmosphere to come too much for you. You need to play the game rather than the occasion, and try and play your natural game. And both these two sides have been really good outfits in League One this year, so hopefully we see the best of them this evening.
How important is it for Oxford to go back into the second leg away from home next week with some kind of advantage?
I think the way they set up Oxford, I don't think it's everything. I think they'll be quite happy to sit in, especially away from home. We may see a little bit of that tonight. I don't mean being uber defensive, but I mean that they'll try and win the ball probably quite deep and spring through Dale and Murphy, who've been fantastic in the wide positions recently. Harris is a good runner as well. He won't want to link up too readily. They've got the two number 8s, number 10s to do that type of work in between the lines. So I think their threat will be in the wide positions and in behind, but they won't be deterred by Peterborough having lots of the ball, and I think that will probably be the case tonight and at London Road. So again, I don't think loads unless there's a huge deficit. Ironic given what happened to Peterborough last season, but I think if the game is nip and tuck, even in Peterborough United's favour going into that game at Posh next week, Oxford will still have an opportunity to go through.
We heard Bolton take a big step towards Wembley with a 3-1 win at Barnsley last night on Talksport 2. Both these teams bear the scars of playoff campaigns from the past. Oxford yet to win an EFL playoff tie. Peterborough somehow managed to lose in the semis from 4-0 up last season. Can one of them go some way to redemption this evening? We are off and underway on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Oxford United, a home side in their yellow jerseys, black shorts and yellow socks, shooting from right to left. And Peterborough with the blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. They are attacking the goal away to our right, and straight away a big punt upfield from Jed Steer, the oldest member of this Peterborough 11. They do have the youngest starting 11 in League One, just on average age. And the ball is just bobbling around on the halfway line as balloons continue to pop all around us. Neither of these sides will want their bubble to burst this evening. It's interesting, Sam, as Jed Steer launched that ball long upfield, the entire Oxford back line all had to shield their eyes from the sun. You mentioned it's a glorious evening for football. That could be an issue in this first half as the sun begins to set.
Yeah, quite possibly. Jamie Cunningham just with his arm up momentarily as Peterborough United build at the opposite end of the pitch. But yeah, the players will probably want that to disappear quite quickly, as nice and pleasant it is for the punters.
Running back high up the field here, Oxford. Murphy with a cross into the penalty area. Spot behind for the first corner of the evening inside 90 seconds, and you saw there the pace and directness of Josh Murphy. 8 goals and 5 assists, and that really got the crowd on their feet, Sam.
Yeah, he's a talisman at the moment, no question. Nicely found by Goodrum, and it's really evident the attacking nature of this Oxford United side early on. The gap between Brannigan and the two advanced midfielder is vast, so it really is all out attack.
Murphy with a corner, right-footed towards the far post, but it was a safe pair of hands there from Jed Steer, all in pink, and he bowls it out to the left-hand side where Mason Clark is forced to run the ball out of play for a throw. And that throw will be taken 15 yards inside the Oxford half. We've played a little over 2 minutes on Talksport 2. It's Oxford 0, Peterborough 0, the first leg of this League One playoff semi. And again, Oxford quickly looking to turn defence into attack with that man Murphy on this near side. They're going to have their work cut out, Peterborough, to keep him at bay over the course of the 2 legs. Good possession this from the home side. Joe Bennett forward from left back, again feeds Murphy, and he crosses. It's cleared only out to the edge of the penalty area, and the shot in the end is from Harris, blocked, and then the rebound effort from the edge of the penalty area from Rodriguez is straight into the gloves of Steer. But this is a really positive, purposeful start from the hosts.
Yeah, I mean the setup is really forward thinking. Goodrum's shown a couple of nice little touches, really delicate touches early part of this game. He linked it nicely with Murphy again, and he really whipped in a delivery which Edwards did really well to deal with. But that second phase, Goodrum nice and sharp to the loose ball and setting up his mate Rodriguez for an effort. Well struck, just too close to Jed Steer on that occasion.
Got bags of goals, haven't they, from midfield over the course of the season, Oxford. Mark Harris probably has surprised a few people, leading the line up front, 19 goals to his name. Of course, he was part of the Wales squad that travelled to Qatar for the most recent World Cup. Oxford have a free kick here, just a yard inside their own half. 0-0 the score. You're listening to Talksport 2, and what's already been a dramatic day in the Championship with the final round of fixtures. Ipswich Town promoted to the Premier League after a 21-year absence. They beat Huddersfield, relegated by 2-0. That was our live commentary game. Birmingham also sliding into the third tier for the first time since Barry Fry, back in the mid-90s, now very much part of the hierarchy at Peterborough, was in charge at St Andrews. And West Bromwich Albion finding a bit of form at last at the end of the season to secure that final playoff place. They'll take on Southampton. Norwich against Leeds, the other semi-final. And of course we'll have every game from the playoffs live either here on Talksport 2 or on Talksport. 5 gone here, 0-0. But all of the play, Sam Parkin has been at this end of the field. In the end, Peterborough are defending. They're having to do a lot of defending as the ball is cleared only as far as Murphy on the edge of the penalty area. Again, he turns on the afterburners, plays it out to Brannigan, joining the attack. Switched out to the right-hand side now. Plenty of yellow jerseys in the centre. If they can get across into the box, it deflected. Steered away by Edwards, midway inside his own area. And then picked up by Archie Collins. And they just can't get out here, Sam. Again, it's going to come straight back.
No, they've started really well. Quick to the second balls, to the loose balls. Loads of attacking intent. Some nice touches for the forward-thinking players, getting on the ball, growing in confidence early part of this game. And as you say, that first pass is a bit detached, Mothersill, already from the rest of the 11. Just need to try and secure that first pass, and then the rest of the forward players can tiptoe forward and try and get a little bit of a foothold.
Yeah, Mason Clark over on the left-hand side has had a couple of balls fizzed into him that he's been unable to hold up as well, as Oxford try and come over the halfway line again. This time the pass is slightly too heavy and Josh Knight plays it into the centre circle. Hadjiboy with time to turn. They're going to play it all the way back to Steer here. The goalkeeper who's made 17 appearances since arriving in January, former Aston Villa man. Hadjiboy there trying to play it around inside the centre circle, but they're not being given a moment's peace here. That was just a little bit overzealous perhaps from Goodrum, and the free kick taken quickly by Peterborough and played out to that left-hand side, and Mason Clark. Mothersill lurking on the edge of the penalty area, but again they go back towards the halfway line. Peterborough 0-0 here on Talksport 2 at a packed Kassam Stadium in front of this capacity and expectant crowd. Oxford looking to get back into the second tier of English football for the first time since 1999. Steer has to come all the way out to the edge of his penalty area to make the clearance. Under pressure from Harris, it's going to be an Oxford throw on this near left-hand side, taken quickly by Murphy into the feet of Harris, who gives it away, and it's knocked forward by the former Leyton Orient man Cipriano. Just need to get a feel of the ball here, Peterborough, after having to survive a bit of an Oxford onslaught since kick-off. Still goalless though. But again, Oxford win the ball back midway inside their own half. There's a second ball on the pitch, so the referee Lewis Smith has just halted play momentarily.
And they did have a period on the ball there, which was a real positive, I think, for Peterborough, just to gain a little bit of confidence and not just keep presenting the ball back to them. Yeah, they got into the final third, but Efron Mason Clark just opted to just turn out, just keep the ball, gave the opportunity for Cipriano and Collins just to have a little touch, a little feel, have a little look at Oxford's shape, and it was a good little spell of possession. Unfortunately for them, it came to an end. Katongo was a little bit over elaborate down on this right-hand side, and Mark Harris nearly got in from a ricochet.
Ball launched forward from the Right back Finlay Stevens there for Oxford. Peterborough have it back, but again can't keep it for too long, and it's a rare touch of the ball from Jamie Cumming, the Chelsea loanee, keeping goal for Oxford, but he's been a spectator for the first 9 minutes. And the ball at the moment is just being played around on the edge of that Oxford back line. A reminder, in the late Premier League game today, Manchester City keeping up the pressure on Arsenal. They beat Wolves by 5-1. Erling Haaland with 4 of them. And we got Manchester City's next 2 games live on Talksport as they go to Fulham next Saturday. That's the first game for us on game day, and they've got a rearranged fixture the following midweek at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that also is live and exclusive to national radio on Talksport. All the big games at the business end of the season right here on Talksport 2 and over on Talksport as well. 0-0 here. Peterborough playing their 62nd game of the season, more than any other team in England, as Murphy again gets away from Katongo. Only one winner in that particular duel so far, Sam, and you mentioned it in the 5-0 game here that Murphy gave young Katongo on loan from Manchester City a torrid afternoon.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that was withdrawn at half-time, and yeah, Murphy has just found something in the latter weeks of the season. I think he had a really indifferent start to life in an Oxford United shirt, but he's playing some brilliant football at the moment. I think aided by having a former teammate at Cardiff, Bennett, at left-back, so they've developed a good relationship, and he's absolutely flying at the moment. I think there's some doubt as to whether he's going to be here next season already, so a promotion into the Championship would probably go some way to making it a harder decision for him if he's to leave.
And his brother Jacob had a particularly good game for Newcastle this afternoon. They ran out 4-1 winners at Burnley. Burnley will be relegated if they lose at Tottenham next weekend. Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, took a big step closer to survival, coming from behind to beat Sheffield United, and it finished 0-0 in the dead rubber between Brentford and Fulham. That after we brought you Luton 1, Everton 1 live on Talksport on Friday evening. On this glorious evening in Oxfordshire, it's the home side who are dominating possession, but they have the ball, Oxford, on the edge of their own box at the moment. Played forward into midfield, and then first time pass back to the goalkeeper Cumming. I'm not sure he particularly wanted that, but he controls it well in mid-air, and then it will be chipped upfield by the Northern Irishman Kieran Brown and picked up 5 yards outside the box by Steer. 0-0 with 11 minutes gone. Both managers out on the edge of their respective technical areas. Darren Ferguson looking to lead Peterborough to promotion for the 5th time. He was in charge when they won this League One playoff. They beat Huddersfield in the final at Old Trafford back in 2011. As Mothersill tries to put the Oxford right back Stevens under pressure. Again, Stevens plays it out for a throw off the Peterborough man. And that throw in will be taken level with the penalty area over on that far side. There was very enthusiastic Peterborough fans before kick-off, somewhat more silent now, having seen Oxford dictate the pace of the game, but for all their possession, all their good attacking play, they've not really forced a save from steerers yet, Sam.
No, and both teams starting to want to play through the centre halves, both really comfortable on the ball, both teams that is, just finding it hard to progress it up the pitch into the final third, into the front players. I would say Oxford probably had more success early part of this game by just fighting and winning second balls, by being a little bit more direct from the goalkeeper, so it's taken more of the pattern I would have expected the last 5 minutes.
Kieran Brown there coming out to meet Adjie Boy on this near side, concedes a throw midway inside the Oxford half, and that will be taken by the teenager Katongo, playing his 42nd game of the season. A real learning experience for him as the ball is crossed into the penalty area, but Cipriano's ball is nodded clear by Bennett and then swept up in the sky. And well won in midfield by Collins, but can only divert the header out for a throw-in, down by the corner flag. But we have got every outfield player inside the Oxford half, probably for the first time. Peterborough trying to pressurise the hosts high up the field, and it will be the left back Bennett who just wipes the ball in his yellow jersey, launches it into midfield where it's headed down by Collins, and then picked up over on that far right hand side by Finlay Stevens. Again, Murphy's got plenty of space on this near touchline if they choose to use him. Instead, Bennett is summoned forward from left back, does knock it forward to Murphy, quickly closed down by a combination of Katongo and Ajiboy, so they switch it back out to the right hand side, and Stevens again. Brannigan fizzing the first time pass out to that right touchline. But Peterborough well organised here, plenty of men back behind the ball and keeping their shape well as Oxford just play the ball across their back line, and then as it's knocked forward by Bennett, charged down by Ajiboy and out for a throw, and Des Buckingham taking the opportunity, the Oxford manager, to come out and have a word in the ear of Joe Bennett, the former Cardiff and Middlesbrough man, and he takes the throw and plays it back to the Oxford penalty area. 0-0. You're listening to Talksport 2. Our coverage of this first leg of the League One playoff semi-final. Bolton 3-1 winners at Barnsley last night. Barnsley, of course, who've parted company with their manager towards the back end of the regular season, which seems strange timing, getting rid of Neil Collins. And there's a tussle going on here over on the Oxford right hand side, and then the ball is clipped forward to Tyler Goodrum, back to Brannigan on halfway. Certainly very pleasing on the eye in these first 16 minutes, Oxford, the way they've moved the ball around amongst themselves. Murphy's just been swept off his feet by Katongo, and that will be a free kick round about the halfway line. Was that a frustrated challenge from the fullback, Sam?
Yeah, and I think what's playing a part as well is that Darren Ferguson's 10 yards from the young fullback and coaching him through everything, and just a few moments ago Murphy was able to spin in beyond him, get the ball. He also came short and received it quite comfortably in the next little action. Ferguson wants the fullback tight, wants him to be aggressive, but probably not overly.
There's a danger if you get too tight to Murphy, you can knock the ball around you and suddenly you're taken out of the game. It's a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, but I think the way that he was gesticulating a few moments ago, that was a product of that. Katongo very aggressive there through the back of Murphy, and that was a bit of a risk.
Ball collected on halfway by Goodrum for Oxford, just off balance as he tried to progress forward, and here's Ajiboy now looking to spring the counter attack. He's got a lot of yellow shirts blocking his route to goal. He plays it out to the near side. Mothersill can't hold it up, and Oxford in possession now with Elliot Moore, the 6'5" central defender. Murphy in a more central role just on the edge of the centre circle, and then it's fizzed forward on the right hand side, asking Owen Dowell to chase that, but it skips away from him and out for a throw in for Peterborough. 0-0 with 17 minutes played. Peterborough scored 119 goals over the course of the season. Only Liverpool and Manchester City more prolific in the top 5 divisions. And they haven't had too many sights of goals so far this evening. The ball is collected by Cipriano in midfield for the Posh, and then played back to Ronnie Edwards at the heart of the Peterborough defence. You can see they're just trying to slow the tempo of the game, Peterborough, and playing the ball around inside their own half. Here's Katongo, the right full-back, back to the edge of the area, and Knight is going to be a bit more direct there, trying to switch it out to the left-hand side, looking to release Mason Clark. Stevens watched it all the way and heads it clear, but they've won it back here, and there's an opportunity maybe to set Mason Clark away, and his cross-come shot is into the arms of Cumming, but that was better from Peterborough.
Yeah, it was. It was Randall away from Brannigan, who went to ground, and as soon as that happened, they were in business. Unfortunately for them, the little threaded pass from Randall just took Mason Clark slightly wide. It meant he couldn't run round it and therefore try and steer it towards the far corner with his right foot. I'm sure that would have been in his mind as the play was developing, but it actually went across him and he finished side-footed, left-footed. Really tough to trouble coming from that type of angle, and it was a really comfortable save from the goalkeeper.
And Sam Parkin, who was a former Swindon striker, made sure he was in the ground before all of the Oxford fans this evening. No love lost between those two clubs.
Surprised you've only just mentioned that now, Crookie. I thought I had passed you by. Head down.
Just biding my time.
Head down and walk.
I think we were pretty much the first two in the press room, weren't we?
It seems to have just plateaued a little bit, hasn't it, that fast start. They're just feeling each other out and they're just having a problem. They both want to play, both teams, which is great, and they're two of the best footballing sides in League One this season, no question, but I think they're just struggling to connect with the front players, play through the opposition's press, and therefore we've seen Brannigan go a little bit longer. Jed Steer certainly for Peterborough United has been kicking early part of this game, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Brannigan behind the fullbacks to the flying wingers is definitely an avenue for Oxford, and they shouldn't turn that down. And I think that's just probably a product of a bit of a cagey last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I think also you have to credit Peterborough for soaking up that early pressure and slowly but surely working their way into the contest. And they have the ball right on the edge of their own penalty area, the Posh. It's played out to Katonga on this right-hand side as he tried to launch it forward. It was blocked by Murphy, and Murphy's onto the ricochet. It had to be hooked away in the end by Knight, coming across to help the young fullback at the expense of an Oxford throw. And they play the ball back to the halfway line, where Elliot Moore can play it forward, and Murphy once again has been bundled over. Second foul that he's won already. He's almost a League One Jack Grealish in that respect, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
knows how to win free kicks for his team.
Yeah, unquestionably the Peterborough United bench weren't happy with that one, but I don't think they're happy with the performance to this point. They certainly are better than this. Quite a few uncharacteristically misplaced passes when they're trying to build defensively, and it's just giving Oxford the impetus to go and press and win balls high up. Murphy with a free kick, held him right-footed, headed away on the edge of the area by Mason Clark, and then a shot from miles out from Goodrum. He struck it sweetly right-footed from fully 35 yards. It's over the top of the crossbar, but it was travelling. Yeah, and when he's sizing it up, I'm thinking, no, don't bother. Just keep the ball, spread it wide, and they were well stocked in the 18-yard box, but he controlled a bouncing ball, a difficult one to hit, beautifully. It was a really good attempt, only missed by a couple of yards, and I would say for my money he's been the most eye-catching performer to this point. Every time he's been on it, he's got good poise. Guy is always looking around, looks like a great technician. I remember him starting to get a few minutes under Carl Robinson, so we're going back a couple of managers. I think he got his first team bow at a really young age, so starting to totally look the part now. He scored 10 goals this season, the 20-year-old academy product, Tyler Goodrum. He certainly has confidence in his long-range ball striking, judging by that latest effort. Here's Rando at the other end, and well defended by Josh Knight, alert to the danger. Comes across and volleys the ball out right-footed for a Peterborough throw. 0-0. You're listening to Talksport 2. Earlier today we brought you live commentary as Ipswich Town ended their 2-decade exile from the Premier League. They beat Huddersfield by 2-0. Ipswich joining Leicester in the top flight. Huddersfield relegated along with Rotherham and Birmingham, who beat Norwich, but wasn't enough after Plymouth, Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday all won as well. And West Bromwich Albion seeing off the threat of Hull City to claim the final Championship playoff place, and we'll have both legs of those two semi-finals, Leeds against Norwich
Southampton against West Brom live on the Talksport network, and of course all 3 playoff finals from Wembley live here as well. Goalless at the Kassam Stadium. And those Peterborough fans are just beginning to find their voice again, midway through the first half, 0-0. And it's Cipriano deep inside his own half, looking to release Mason Clark. Good idea, just not quite the right execution with a crossfield ball, and it's behind for a goal kick. Sam Parkin.
Yeah, just having a little look at something slightly different there. Cipriano dropping in between centre halves there, and he did get freed up. Mark Harris wasn't too sure whether he should stick on Ronnie Edwards or go and engage the midfield player. He struck a nice pass, just slightly too heavy. Looked like when it was in flight from Mason Clark was going to be able to make up the distance, but to no avail.
What will be the thoughts of the 2 managers at this point of the first half?
I think Oxford United started the better, so Des Buckingham will be pleased with that aspect, but it's definitely just subsided, that fast beginning from them. And yeah, by the look of Darren Ferguson's body language, I've been keeping an eye on him. He's the nearest gaffer to us. Yeah, I think slightly displeased with their quality on the ball thus far.
Good play there by Owen Dale, bringing the ball forward at rapid pace. And speaking of rapid, here's Murphy again, up against Katongo. Plays it to the edge of the penalty area. The ball steered into a congested box by Bennett, but Peterborough had enough blue shirts back there to clear the danger, and it's collected by Brannigan. Plucks it neatly from the sky inside the centre circle to get Oxford back on the ball once more, but not really in an area where they can hurt their visitors. Brannigan arrows a pass out to this left-hand side. Katonga there ahead of Murphy. But then Ajiboye dispossessed inside his own half. And here's Murphy again, coming in field this time. Works the ball onto his right foot. Stopped in his tracks by Cipriano. Oxford wanted a free kick. The referee, Lewis Smith, had a really good view of it and said play on. And Peterborough now streaming forward on the counter-attack. Mason Clark, left corner of the penalty area, out to his left-hand side. The cross deflected by Burrows, but behind for Peterborough's first corner of the evening. I think that was good refereeing. It wasn't a foul. And they allowed the play to continue, and Peterborough quickly worked it into a decent attacking opportunity.
Yeah, it went over a little easily, and yeah, Peterborough's raid was a product of just that wide open space vacated by Oxford United players tiptoeing forward. They thought they were in good position to maybe create something themselves, and that's what Peterborough United are really good at, springing in that fashion. First time Harrison Burrows has got wide and high on the left hand side and forced the corner
To be taken at the far end of the ground as we look, but headed away on the edge of the Oxford 6-yard box, and Murphy's going to try and put Katonga under pressure here as they played it over the halfway line. Composed from the fullback though, just knocks it back to his goalkeeper Steer, and then Collins, to groans of frustration from those travelling fans on the far side, plays it back to Steer again, but Collins with room to manoeuvre now, looks to launch it over the top for Mason Clark, headed away by Stevens. Good little battle developing between those two on the Oxford right. 0-0 the score with 27 minutes played here on Talksport 2, and it's Oxford United coming forward over on the far side.
Yeah, I think we're talking about Oxford probably territorially being on top. Certainly started with more energy, more intent, but ultimately Peterborough United haven't had an attempt, and we're only 25 minutes in, but still, from their high standards, a season where they've had, I noted it down, 85 more shots than any other team in League One this season. I mean, that's an incredible stat. So I think even 25 minutes not to show any kind of attacking impetus, that'll be a frustration for Darren Ferguson. He expects his side and his forward players to be able to cause problems. So
I just wonder if that is as a result of the fact they were beaten here 5-0 just 21 days ago. Maybe there's a little bit more cautiousness tonight.
There could be, and they conceded 5 in the last couple of games. They've not been at it defensively, so to lose a goal early tonight would have been a test for them, a test for a young side who, yeah, they were in the playoffs last season, but still, I think that type of thing rocks you. And of course the recent defeat that you mentioned as well, they've done well to stabilise, but the next part is, can we get the front players that are our biggest asset into the game and causing Oxford problems? Because at the moment, ball's just coming, there's not much between the two sides, but they're not influencing the game, and they should be with their quality.
Yeah, 503 shots Peterborough had in their 46 league matches. Sam said comfortably more than anybody else in the division. Although if you speak to posh fans, while of course it's a positive they create so many opportunities, maybe it's a slight negative that they don't take as many as they should.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly that's been a criticism of Jade Jones, who I really like as a player. He gives them that work ethic, mobility, loads more than just being a goal scorer down the middle, but he does pass up quite a few opportunities. I think the statistics back that up, and quite possibly a bit more of a criticism.
Here's Burrows into the penalty area, linking up neatly with Mason Clark over on the far side. Gives it back to the player now on loan from Coventry, and it's collected on the edge of the area by Cipriano. Back out to Mason Clark again, trying to dance his way into space. He gets across him via a deflection, but the ball nestles cleanly in the gloves of Jamie Cumming, who immediately volleys it upfield. He was looking again for Murphy on this near side, but Peterborough alert to it, and it was well collected by Josh Knight, who is then upended on the halfway line, and it's a free kick for the visitors. Goalless here on Talksport 2. The Oxford fans try and offer a bit more vocal encouragement. They know how important a positive result tonight would be. Taking to the second leg on Wednesday. Kickoff comes live from that game. Adrian Durham, big Peterborough fan, of course, in the chair. And you can hear live commentary on Talksport 2. We're going to see a yellow card here, the first of the evening. Just a bit overzealous there, Ruben Rodriguez in the challenge. The referee immediately goes to his pocket. Is that the right call, Sam?
But it looked a little rash, didn't it? It was a lunge. I'm not sure how much of Cipriano he gets with his leading foot. Maybe the trailing leg makes a little bit of contact. He's just walking away gingerly. And what they did, Oxford, they're going man for man. There's one spare centre half, so Harris is just working between those two. But when it was released to the right back there, Katongo, that was the trigger to go and press. Murphy and Goodrum and Rodriguez went forward really aggressively, and yeah, just a little bit overzealous in the challenge. But that's where Peterborough are just struggling at the moment to find. They've got a spare centre half, but it's just progressing it into the midfield, because Oxford are quite aggressive without the ball. They're stepping onto them, and obviously if they go a little bit longer, Oxford United defenders have been in command so far.
Well, you mentioned it before kick-off that Brannigan really is an attacking midfielder playing in the anchor role in midfield. But what it does mean is when Oxford are in possession, they've pretty much got 6 outfield players running at the Peterborough back line.
Yeah, the fullbacks tend to stay. We've not seen too much of them getting forward, so very much is a kind of flat defensive back four. The fullbacks aren't going to bomb on, especially when they're building. But in front of that, it's just 5 really attack-minded players. 6, sorry, not done my maths there. But yeah, I mean, Brannigan, since he's been at Oxford, since he's come down to the level, has been known for his ability to get goals. I mean, he takes an awful lot of penalties as well along with that, but always had an eye for a long-distance strike. And even under Carl Robinson, it was often the criticism of this Oxford United side that they didn't have the balance in the midfield. They didn't have enough ball winners in there. It's ironic that they've been through Liam Manning and now onto another manager, and they've continued to go this way. So it's had success, but it does leave them a little bit open.
13 minutes to go until half-time. Foul there by Cipriano, midway inside the Oxford half, away to our right. So they will have the opportunity to play the ball forward from the free kick. Des Buckingham, the Oxford manager, is just going to sit back down in the dugout. Recruited after a successful period at Mumbai City over in India. He's won 13 of his 34 matches in charge since replacing Liam Manning when he departed for Bristol City mid-season. Murphy tussling with Katongo here as the free kick was launched long into the area. Murphy trying to work it onto his right foot, shoots deflected, and it's a pretty comfortable collect by Jed Steer in the end, who just bends over and picks up the ball. They've looked to get the ball over to Murphy at every opportunity, haven't they, for Oxford in these opening 33 minutes?
Yeah, and that was a test for Katongo, and he passed that with flying colours. That was really good defending. If Murphy would have been able to capture it kind of on the half volley when it went over their heads into the space, he may have been in trouble, but he got back, got a little bit of contact on the wire player and didn't allow him any space really to get that strike away, which he choked into the arms of Steer.
0-0 the score then, as we tiptoe towards half-time. Katongo with a throw-in into Ajiboye, who did well to get away from not one but two Oxford players before eventually being crowded out, and the ball ricochets off Ajiboye and out for a throw-in on halfway. And Oxford play that throw-in back into their own half of the field. And then it's launched out to the right-hand side. Owen Dale was the intended target, but just skips away from him and out for a goal kick. You are listening to Oxford United against Peterborough in the EFL League One on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Oxford only took 1 point from the last two home games in League One. Certainly have been the more positive side so far this evening. I think if you offer Darren Ferguson a draw to take into the second leg on Wednesday right now, he probably would accept that. He's probably just happy the second leg is at home after what happened at Hillsborough last season. Incredible turnaround. 4-0 victors in the first leg against Sheffield Wednesday. Looked home and hosed. Somehow managed to surrender that advantage. The biggest comeback in the history of the playoffs. I'm sure Peterborough fans listening won't want reminding of that, but it is a narrative as they look to navigate their way to Wembley this time around. And of course, they've already been victors at the National Stadium once this season, beat Wycombe Wanderers in the EFL Trophy. Harrison Burrows, who was there as a fan back in 2014 when they won the competition, scoring twice in that final, a real Roy of the Rovers story. And here's another very talented young player at Peterborough, attracting plenty of interest from higher up the EFL food chain and beyond. Here's Katongo playing the ball back into his own half, and Knight into Edwards. Edwards just cushions the pass back to Steer. He plays with a maturity beyond his years. Ronnie Edwards, very cultured centre-back. That wasn't very cultured from Ajiboye, giving away possession. And here's Murphy into the area, and his cross right across the goal line. In the end, behind for a goal kick. Jed Steer had his angles right there and knew that it was always going over, but once again Murphy causing issues on this near side.
Yeah, Peterborough won the ball really high there. It was two players snapping into Brannigan, I think it was, Cipriano and Randall. Randall came out with the ball and it just lacked a little bit of dynamic movement in front of him. I think Mothersill should have moved in beyond them. Potentially the pass could have gone. He checked out Randall, the ball comes all the way back and they get themselves into trouble once more. And it's Ajiboye who's getting the wrath of Darren Ferguson at the moment. He was the one that gave it to Oxford, and it ended in that Josh Murphy half chance down the left-hand side. They're just not quite at it, Peterborough United. And yes, the early tempo of this game from Oxford United has subsided to a degree. They're just not at it in the front positions. Hence why Ferguson continues to go pretty mad down to our right-hand side.
Manic Mothersill dropping deep there has just conceded a free kick. The Oxford fans wanted a yellow card. The referee didn't reach for his pocket this time, but it is a set piece in a dangerous position, 5 or 6 yards in from the near touchline, around about 15 yards inside the posh half. So the big defenders, Moore and Brown, have come forward from the back, and it's played to the edge of the penalty area. That was a towering header clear by Cipriano. Picked up by Dal on the edge of the box in towards Harris and punched away by the goalkeeper Steer. Really alert from the Peterborough keeper as that ball was pinged in. Here's Murphy crossing right-footed from the left-hand side, and almost an own goal. Edwards, I think, heading the ball behind, but just for a moment Steer was rooted to the spot. Will be a corner, could have been much worse.
Yeah, two excellent balls in, one from Rodriguez that just tempted Harris. He knew that he just needed to get the faintest of touches in front of Steer, and it was the opening goal of the game. And then an equally good one from Murphy. He had the option to play square, opted to whip it into the 6-yard box. Big header from Edwards. Murphy
with the corner, near side the Oxford left towards the far post, and again it's glanced behind, this time by Cipriano. So a second Oxford corner in quick succession, and pressure mounting on Peterborough as we move towards half-time. Goalless here at the Kassam Stadium, but Oxford asking most of the questions over the course of this opening period. Corner is going to be curled in, left-footed from the right-hand side. They've got 5 players, Oxford, inside the 6-yard box, and one of them was Elliot Moore, and he gets his head on it and he nods it just over the crossbar, the big centre-back. Another huge opportunity for the hosts to take the lead.
Yeah, it's a great delivery from Bennett, really flat, really pacey as well. I think Peterborough United are just fortunate they've got Cipriano and Knight, I think it was, in close enough proximity with Moore to make it a difficult header. As physical a centre-half as he is, it's hard for him to get up and above it and head the ball down towards the target with those two as close to them as they were. But yeah, another opportunity, and I think the game needed it. The game needed a little bit of pressure one way or the other, because it had just been a little bit flat the last 15 minutes, and Oxford United starting to put on a little bit of pressure.
5.5 minutes the first half to play. Oxford 0, Peterborough 0. We've got 3 more live commentaries for you on Monday, including the first leg of the League 2 playoff semi-finals here on Talksport 2. Crawley against Milton Keynes is a 3 o'clock kickoff. At 5:30 we have Crewe Doncaster over on Talksport. Palace against Manchester United is an 8 o'clock kickoff, and as well as the second leg of Bolton against Barnsley here on Talksport 2 on Tuesday, we've got the second leg of PSG against Dortmund in the Champions League over on Talksport. Plenty of live football coming your way over the next few days, and tomorrow the best way to stay in touch with all of the Premier League and WSL action is by listening to Sam Matterface on the Sunday session on Talksport. That gets underway at 1:30. Goal kick here, launched long upfield by Jamie Cumming, the Oxford goalkeeper, who's been a spectator so far. Collected by Ajiboy on this near side for Peterborough. He tries to play it forward to the starved of service Mothersill, and again he can't hold the ball up, and it's back now with Cumming inside the penalty area. Cumming all in green, just side foots the ball out to his left-hand side. Picked up just on the edge of the centre circle by Ruben Rodriguez, the Portuguese for Oxford. Now Stevens in the right back position. At the moment, Oxford just knocking the ball around at will, but inside their own half of the field. Dink forward towards Murphy, though. Is he going to get there ahead of Steer? No, the goalkeeper had a good starting position, slides on his knees and takes the ball cleanly before bowling it out to Edwards on the left-hand side. I think certainly Darren Ferguson's half-time team talk might be a bit more animated than Des Buckingham's.
Yeah, he's going to give a few a bit, that's for certain. There's still a little bit of old school in there. I saw when Ajiboy gave that aforementioned one away, Hoku was sent straight away to warm up, and
yeah, that could be a change that could come. Well, if not at half-time, then certainly early in the second half.
Well, you get very short odds on him being the first change tonight, but yeah, Ajiboy has not been able to get the team up the pitch, but that's been in keeping with the rest of the forwards' performance. I'd say Randall's gotten the ball on a few occasions between the lines and looked neat and tidy, but even Mason Clark, for his high standards, not affected it. Mothersill's been a bit of a passenger. That's a bad challenge.
Play on though, because Katongu has carried the ball all the way to the edge of the Oxford area into Mothersill. Room to turn on the edge of that box, but breaks down rather easily again. Ajiboy only just back on his feet. I wonder if the referee might come back and show a yellow card for that tackle. Peterborough still coming forward with Josh Knight high up the pitch, the central defender. He's been dispossessed, and Oxford have it back now with Murphy just inside their penalty area. Only 2.5 minutes of the first half to play, plus whatever referee Lewis Smith, who's had a couple of games in the Premier League this season, decides to add on. Maybe enough time has elapsed now that there won't be a yellow card for the earlier challenge. Brannigan, meanwhile, chips it forward towards the left corner of the Peterborough penalty area. There's a tussle, and it's going to be a posh free kick and a chance to relieve this bit of pressure on the referee. Is going to come back and show a yellow card. Is it Joe Bennett, the recipient?
Yeah, just got too tight to Adjaboy. His best moment. Nice quick feet, turned it around the corner. Joe Bennett absolutely steamed into him.
It's a second Oxford booking in this first half.
It was another example of the ploy for Brannigan to just flip those passes, or attempt to flip those passes behind the opposition fullback for Owen Dale. Just cut out. I think it was Josh Knight just tiptoeing over towards his left back that was able to get a foot in.
Long ball upfield from Steer, but he's frustrated with himself because he's put it straight into the arms of his opposite number Cumming. I mentioned earlier that Oxford gate crashed their way into the playoffs on the last day of the season, winning at Exeter. They had to win 5 of their last 8 in order to do that. And actually changed the shape of the team, changed the formation, Des Buckingham, after they were beaten 5-0 at Bolton. And that coincided with that return to the form they were showing under Liam Manning right at the start of the season. So Owen Dale running down that right touchline. Needed 2 Peterborough players to force the ball off for a throw, but another opportunity in the final few seconds of normal time at the end of this first half for Oxford, maybe to work an opportunity with the throw from the far side. Finney Stevens to take the right full-back in towards Harris. Haven't mentioned him too much actually, Mark Harris. He helps the ball back to the halfway line. We're about to see how many added minutes there will be at the end of this first half. That's a decent looking ball. Chipped in towards Rodriguez, who controls it on the chest, around about 20 yards outside the Peterborough penalty area. Bennett offering support and crossing left-footed. It's a stooping header away by Josh Knight. Then Ronnie Edwards having to do the mopping up job. It's just one additional minute at the end of the first half. It's a game that's flowed pretty well actually. And the ball is in the gloves of Jamie Cumming in the Oxford goal. He bowls it out to Moore on the edge of the penalty area. Moore heading over from a corner, as close as Oxford have come to making their territorial advantage tell in this first half. For all the possession, they've probably not tested Jed Steer enough. I'm sure that might be one complaint from the home manager Buckingham. As Cumming goes long once more. Katonga watched it all the way and gets there ahead of Bennett, who'd actually run ahead of Murphy, the left back, and then Katonga launching it upfield, but over the head of Motherseal. One last Peterborough attack at the end of the first half, and that was a decent looking ball by Collins out to Mason Clark. Mason Clark into the penalty area, plays it back to Collins, 5 yards outside the box. They're trying to work their way into a shooting position here, but they're going to run out of time, Peterborough, and that probably sums up their first half. They had the opportunity there to be a bit more probing, didn't take it. And as the half-time whistle sounds, we are goalless at the Kassam Stadium. But Sam Parkin, as we've hinted at, I think Darren Ferguson will be much more vociferous in his half-time team talk. Oxford have been the better side.
Yeah, marginally. There was a period where it was quite cagey in the middle part of that half. Lack of end product would probably sum up the first half quite well. Oxford got into some dangerous positions, certainly started with a little bit of intent, more aggression, but when they've got to the byline or into the final third, the opportunity to deliver, they've not been able to execute that final pass. And Peterborough have had trouble getting into the final third, let alone making mistakes when they've been in there in crossing positions. They've not been able to actually progress the ball into dangerous enough areas for their forward players. The luxury for Darren Ferguson, I suppose, is he's got 3 really good options on the bench to introduce at some stage, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we're in kind of last chance territory there for the forward players, because that was really subdued from their incredibly high standards. And again, I've got a good position here to see Darren Ferguson. He was absolutely furious on occasions at the the inability to get hold of the ball, the inability to get the team up the pitch to make the right decisions, and because of that, the ball on occasion was just coming straight back towards their defensive players. So yeah, not at it completely, but the positive is they, in comparison to the last couple of games, they're not conceding, and defensively, to get it right, they protected their goalkeeper pretty well.
Yeah, maybe a case of the commentators' curse at half-time. We gave it the big build-up, didn't we, before kick-off? This couldn't possibly end 0-0, but it is goalless at the break, despite the fact that Oxford have had the more promising moments. Full second-half commentary to come from the Kassam Stadium, and stay with us during half-time. We're going to be hearing from the victorious Ipswich manager Kieran McKenna after they sealed their promotion to the Premier League. You are listening to the EFL League One playoff live on Talksport 2.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Bring on the ultimate dream team. The classic quarter pounder with cheese and a side of fries. Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
So many small cars to choose from. This one looks like that one, which looks like... Hang on. The new Suzuki Swift. This is the one.
Yep, standard reaction to the new Suzuki Swift, which comes with serious style, a choice of cool colours and loads of tech as standard. Oh, and it's available with 0% APR for 2 years. Want to be one of the first behind the wheel? Search Suzuki Swift to book your test drive and get set to feel good different. Participating dealers only. Suzuki Financial Services Limited. T's and C's apply. See cars.suzuki.co.uk/offers.
It's time to spring into makeover mode with the Oak Furnitureland Bank Holiday Sale, where you can save on every range. Save on a luxurious bed for waking up ready to seize brighter days, a stylish sofa to sprawl on once the garden's prepped for summer, or a stunning dining table and chairs for entertaining the night away. And right now, enjoy 3 years interest-free credit and no deposit to pay from just $4.99. The Oak Furnitureland Bank Holiday Sale ends Monday. Finance T's and C's apply. Oak Furnitureland is a credit broker, not a lender.
Summer is coming. With Lidl, be super ready. Get 15% off for award-winning deluxe Aberdeen Angus beef burgers to kickstart Barbie season. They're now just $2.54 with Lidl Plus. Download the Lidl Plus app and start saving today.
Subject to availability, valid until the 8th of May 24. 18 plus. GB residents. Full T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
On May 9th, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming to cinemas everywhere.
This was a human place with human ideas. It was not meant for apes.
It is now. Enter the kingdom in IMAX. Together, you will die. No, together, strong. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Book your tickets now.
Don't know where to start your next paint project? At Wix, find all the inspiration and help you'll need. Plus, Dulux standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion was £21, now £15. Terms apply.
90 seconds and you're done. Yes, just 90 seconds. That's how long it takes to shave your head with the Pitbull from Skull Shaver. Shave your head, face or body, wet or dry. You're only seconds away from a super smooth shave. That's the power of Pitbull. Skull Shaver products have over 100,000 five-star reviews worldwide and 30 days money-back guarantee. 90 seconds and you're done. Try the Pitbull from skullshaver.co.uk. Skull Shaver, the time saver.
The small improvements we're making to our burgers are kind of a big deal. So McDonald's are giving rewards customers double points on selected classics. Sign up to My McDonald's Rewards, unlock an app and get more of what you love. Double points. 18 plus on Big Mac, Quarter Pounder and Double Cheeseburger. Participating restaurants only. Ends 19th of May. Terms apply.
As another dramatic EFL season comes to a close, some clubs are celebrating the glory of automatic promotion.
Magnificent work!
But the battle is far from over as teams compete to secure that final promotion spot in the EFL playoffs. Talksport and Talksport 2 will bring you unmissable first-class coverage and full kick-by-kick commentary of each and every playoff showdown.
Unbelievable.
Ahead of all 3 playoff finals, live from Wembley Stadium.
Oh, yes!
Experience the excitement and anticipation of the EFL playoffs.
What a magnificent finish!
Live on Talksport and Talksport 2. Sharpshooter, ball booting radio. The League One playoff semi-finals. Live on Talksport
2. You're listening to EFL Game Day live on Talksport 2, where it's half-time between Oxford and Peterborough. We'll have full second-half commentary to come in around about 10 minutes' time. But first, here's how the final day of the Championship season sounded as Ipswich returned to the top flight for the first time since 2002 after beating Huddersfield 2-0.
last push from Ipswich Town required to earn the result that would bring Premier League football back to Portman Road. Chaplin at the edge of the D finds Burns in space. Where's Burns? Like the blue touch paper, Ipswich Town are on their way.
It's Plymouth Argyle 1, Hull City 0. And there to meet it with a firm header was Joe Edwards. Pandemonium at Home Park amongst the home supporters.
And this is great for Sheffield Wednesday. It's Sunderland 0, Wednesday 2, and it's Josh Windass with a really well taken goal.
And it's a big goal for Birmingham City. Birmingham 1, Norwich City 0.
Sammy Swaddick's the hero, the talisman for Blackburn Rovers, has got them the goal that could secure their safety.
The Sheffield Wednesday live to fight another day, and that day next season will be in the Championship.
Hutchinson skips away from Kazumu up to the edge of the area. Shot! Goal! Amari Hutchinson! After 22 years of hurt, Ipswich are back in the Premier League.
Birmingham are down. Their relegation to League One is confirmed. So congratulations to Ipswich and their supporters. Kieran McKenna has now led his side to back-to-back promotions. And after the game, he spoke to Talksport 2's Ian Danter.
No, it's an incredible achievement, and look, let's get it right. It's with largely the same group of players. It's with 96 points in one of the most competitive championships in history. It's not even a normal year, I don't think, in what we've done it, and we've done it in a great style as well. So it's an incredible achievement. It doesn't happen every year, it doesn't happen every decade, and maybe beyond that. So just delighted for everyone.
You've kept a really calm exterior whilst everyone's been peppering you with questions, particularly in the past couple of months about automatic promotion. You've kept a fairly level head. Was there a moment where you believed privately that, OK, this could be it?
No, there has been for sure over the last couple of months. As the position that we've put ourselves in, by Christmas we had a record break. Well, us and Leicester both, I think, had a record break in first 20 games of the Championship or so. Yeah. So we knew we put ourselves in an incredible position, but we also knew we couldn't afford to spend too much time thinking about it or dreaming about what would happen next, because it's been so relentless. And we've managed to just stay focused. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but for us it isn't. We just really give everything for every game, prepare with such thoroughness for every game, and give it everything for every game. And I think that's why we've only lost 6 games out of 46 for a newly promoted team. I think that's incredible. So yeah, we knew that it was possible with the start that we had and the first half of the season we had, but I think everyone's done a fantastic job of staying level and focusing on the task ahead.
And just finally, you want to be part of that development. There's noises off about people looking at you, but you want to be part of this Ipswich Premier League journey, don't you?
Yeah, there's always going to be noise. There's been noise for the last couple of years. If we've done well, if I didn't want to still be here, I wouldn't have been here. And I've been loyal over the last couple of years when things have been there, and wanted to keep going with this project, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's a fantastic football club, and we can look back on a season well done now and look forward to next season as well.
That was the Ipswich manager Kieran McKenna speaking with Talksport's Ian Danter after their promotion back to the Premier League. Meanwhile, Dance also caught up with the Tractor Boys captain Sam Morsey after the game.
Something we've worked really hard for, and unbelievable, really. Can't really put it into words right now.
And the day couldn't have gone any better for you, could it?
I know. We played really well. We scored a few. Possibly could have scored more. Really good performance. So yeah, great day.
Can you put into context what this means to have achieved what you've done, back-to-back promotions?
Incredible, really. Back-to-back, and especially the teams we've competed with some great teams. So to get it over the line, yeah, amazing.
Well, you're the skipper. You must be so proud of this group of players that you lead.
Yeah, really proud. Phenomenal group, phenomenal club support, and yeah, an amazing day.
Elsewhere on the final day, Birmingham City were relegated back to League One for the first time since 1995. Despite heading back to the second tier, manager Gary Rowett remains upbeat about their future.
Your initial feeling is always going to be a frustration, of disappointment, of sadness that the club go down. I think when the dust settles and when people start to sort of see next season come to fruition, my belief is these owners are absolutely fantastic and absolutely the right people to take Birmingham back to where we need to be. So it might be a season blip if we do it right, or if the club do it right rather. And I think there's exciting times ahead. I know it's difficult to see now. It's difficult to see through that little bit of fog. But I think there's exciting times ahead if we get it right on the pitch. I think that's culturally and team-wise.
As Birmingham caretaker boss Gary Rowett reacting to their relegation to League One. Oxford and Peterborough both trying to escape the third tier, but nothing between them in the first half of this playoff semi-final. We are off and underway on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. Here's Murphy into the area, and his cross right across the goal line. In the end, behind for a goal kick. Murphy crossing right-footed from the left-hand side, and almost an own goal. Edwards, I think, heading the ball behind. They've got 5 players, Oxford, inside the 6-yard box, and one of them was Elliot Moore, and he gets his head on it, and he nods it just over the crossbar. Oxford 0, Peterborough 0 at half-time. Oxford with 55% possession, only 2 shots on target. Peterborough with only 1 goal attempt on or off target. Second half commentary to come from here at the Kassam Stadium. Let's just remind you of the rest of the live football that we have coming up on the Talksport network over the coming week. The Sunday session is the best way to stay abreast of all of the action in the Premier League and the WSL tomorrow. Sam Atterface and Perry Groves on air from 1:30. Mickey Gray, part of the team at Anfield, as Liverpool take on Tottenham. On Monday, we have 3 live commentaries for you. More playoff action. We start at 3 o'clock at Broadhall Way as Crawley, who got into the playoffs on the last day of the season, they take on Milton Keynes Dons in their first leg at 5:30. Also here on Talksport 2, Crew against Doncaster, the first leg of their League 2 playoff semi-final. Over on Talksport, we'll have live and exclusive national radio commentary of Crystal Palace against Manchester United in the Premier League. That's at 8 o'clock on Bank Holiday Monday. On Tuesday, PSG against Dortmund is live on Talksport 2 from the Champions League. Meanwhile, Bolton Barnsley, the other League One playoff semi-final, will have the second leg here on Talksport 2. Both of those games at 8 o'clock kickoffs. On Wednesday, it's Real Madrid against Bayern in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final, live on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, Adrian Durham will be hosting Peterborough against Oxford, his beloved Posh, and the second leg of their League One playoff semi-final. On Thursday, Aston Villa have it all to do as they travel to Athens for the second leg of their Conference League semi-final. 4-2 down from the first leg. They take on Olympiacos. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, MK Dons against Crawley. And on Friday, the final of the League 2 playoff semi-finals, live here once again on Talksport 2 as Doncaster take on Crook. The Oxford players have just re-emerged from the tunnel, as you can tell by the loud cheers around the Kassam Stadium. The Peterborough players actually have been out for a good 90 seconds or so. Mystic Sam Parkin alongside me predicted the substitution they are making for the start of this second half, Peterborough, and it is Puku who is coming on for Ajiboye. Sam.
Yeah, maybe possibly a tad harsh. I mean, none of the 4 players have been on it. I would suggest Ajiboye gave that one away near the dugout, nearly led to an Oxford United chance, and I think Darren Ferguson made his mind up there, but Puku has been a terrifically talented player for them throughout the season and the last, so unquestionably he was going to be on early. That just is a little bit harsh, I think, on Ajiboye.
It's the home side defending the goal away to our left in this second half, and it will be Peterborough who kick us off, shooting from right to left. Peterborough in blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. Oxford in their yellow jerseys, black shorts and yellow socks. No change in personnel for the host, so they still have Jamie Cumming in goal, a back 4 of Stevens, Moore, Kieran Brown and Bennett, who's on a yellow card. Brannigan in front of them, Dale, Rodriguez, who's been booked, Goodrum and Murphy make up the midfield with Mark Harris, the lone striker. Peterborough now, following that change, have steering goal as Oxford pile forward. Harris, it is dropping deep. That's a poor pass from him, and it'll be out of play for a throw-in. Katonga, the right full-back, Knight, Edwards and Burrows make up the back 4. Cipriano and Collins in front of them, and it's now Puku, Randall and Mason Clark in behind Mothersill up front. Just speaking to a couple of Peterborough fans at half-time, they're quite satisfied with the first half display, much more controlled than they were in that 5-0 defeat here 3 weeks ago, is the messages I'm getting.
Yeah, that's going to probably played a part in the way they've approached this. You said it about 20 minutes in, Crookie, didn't you? Did I think that it had an effect on the way they'd set up? And quite possibly so. Maybe the indication of that was the goalkeeper kicking straight from the off. Let's not overplay here and put ourselves into any difficulty.
There's Murphy. That's a deep cross from the far side, but well overcooked on this occasion and behind for a goal kick for Peterborough.
That said, Darren Ferguson's going to want the forward players to be better than they have been, and across the board be better with the football in possession. That is, a given, I think, when you watch Peterborough United. So yeah, maybe they have been a little bit more conservative and have kicked longer, possibly more than they would do invariably in a league fixture. But the same criticism I've given the forward players would stick. They've not been good enough or assured enough with the football, and that will be the message, I'm sure.
Puku, the Ghanaian, who missed the last 3 games of the league season due to an ankle issue, scored 12 goals over the course of the campaign, should be fully refreshed for this second half, as Oxford have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, with Brown played out to Murphy, dropping deep into his own half. He's on 49 career goals, Josh Murphy, incidentally same number as his brother Jacob, who I mentioned had a big part to play as Newcastle put 4 past Burnley at Turf Moor this afternoon. There is a possibility, by the way, that Burnley and Luton could be relegated without kicking another ball, depending on the outcome of Nottingham Forest's appeal against their 4-point deduction for breaching Premier League spending rules. We should hear about that next week, although we thought that this week as well. Talksport.com, your go-to destination for all the big breaking news. Peterborough fans in good voice at the start of this second half as the ball is launched towards the posh penalty area and only headed half away. Here's Brannigan, the diminutive midfielder, the former Liverpool youngster for Oxford United, plays out to the left, and Murphy's going to try and take on Katongu. He gets the cross into the area. Cipriano blocking that just on the edge of the box, and it's launched high up into the Oxfordshire sky. Dark skies they are now after bright sunshine at the start of the evening. There are 1 or 2 menacing grey clouds lurking. Here's Murphy, he's going to try and take on Katongu again. He's done well there, the teenager, and in the end he draws the foul. I think actually after that opening period where Murphy clearly had the better of young Katongu, he's grown in stature, hasn't he, and he's got more of a measure of the Oxford wide man as the game has gone on.
Yeah, no doubt he's got the athleticism to be able to deal with Murphy. It's just that decision making in terms of his distances, when he goes and goes really tight, and when he allows him to maybe receive it. So that was what I would question probably early part of this game. But yeah, absolutely, when they're getting into a race physically, there's no doubt at all we can match him.
Oxford 0, Peterborough 0. On a night full of tension here at the Kassam Stadium. They'll do it all again on Wednesday. You can hear that second leg live on Talksport 2. A very nervous Adrian Durham will be in the hosting hot seat. As they know from bitter experience last season, Peterborough. Second legs can be decisive, whatever the outcome in the first game, but I guess the first priority, particularly away from home, is just to stay in the tie, and certainly they're doing that at the moment as Oxford have the ball with Finlay Stevens, the Swansea loanee, in the right back position. He's going to carry the ball over the halfway line, Stevens. And an opportunity maybe to release Dow. Watched by Burrows, and he ushers the ball back to Steer, who again had a good starting position, the goalkeeper, and clears upfield despite the oohs and ahs from the Oxford supporters. Here is Puku, first time he's really been on the ball since coming off the bench at half-time. The second half 6 minutes old here on Talksport 2 and still goalless. And it's Burrows playing the ball forward to Mason Clark. They've done a good job, Oxford, of keeping him quiet so far. As the ball is passed forward into the penalty area, it's intercepted by Moore. Dow trying to search out Rodriguez inside the centre circle, but Peterborough have won it back. Here's Katongo with a chance to burst forward and start an attack maybe. Into the feet of Puku. Puku with a shot left-footed. High over the crossbar, but a sign of what he's capable of. Very quickly got the ball out from under his studs, turned away from the Oxford defender. In the end, just got slightly too underneath the shot, and it was always rising.
Yeah, all of a sudden just looking a hell of a lot more threatening, combined in the final third. Katongo with a nice little pass. He actually wanted it to be just set back to him, continued his run, but Poku took it upon himself to just wriggle away from that first challenge. Good position to get his strike away, just leant back a tad and missed the target by a couple of yards, but much more encouraging for Posh.
And you can see they're actually just playing 10 yards higher up the field at the start of this second half, much less cautious than they were early in the first period. Here's Brannigan though, looking to pick a way through, and he's played it out to Murphy, left-hand side. Murphy will run at Katongo again, and he tries to stand up the cross, but blocked behind for a corner. Oxford's fourth of the evening. As a big roar goes up from those Oxford fans behind the goal. There are three giant yellow flags waving at the back of that stand that they're now attacking, and it's going to be a corner whipped in from the far side. Murphy stands over it. Elliot Moore, who had that headed opportunity in the first half, has been summoned forward from the back. And he's taken up a starting position on the right corner of the 6-yard box, and it's whipped towards the far post and headed back towards Moore and headed in. Oxford United draw first blood in this playoff semi-final. Elliot Moore, who missed a golden chance in the first half, doesn't pass up this one. It is Oxford 1, Peterborough 0, and the Posh undone from the set piece.
Well, it's two brilliant headers. I mean, Cameron Brannigan's got no right really to deliver and produce what he did on the far post, because it's swinging away from him, the delivery, and he stretches and somehow he finds the perfect header, cutting it back into the 6-yard box, and then Elliot Moore has the momentum as he arrives onto the ball. The Peterborough United players are under the ball, the defenders. He's got that momentum, he's got that power, he's got that height, and he rises, and it's a simple header in the end, but all about that initial header from Brannigan. Again, Peterborough United a little bit susceptible. It's been a weakness for them this season, defending set pieces. Come a cropper again.
It's the 200th goal that has been scored in Peterborough's games this season. Only Moore's second of the campaign. How priceless it could prove, as it gives Oxford the upper hand. Still a long way to go, of course, in the tie. But Peterborough, having started the second half much more positively than they did the first. He'll be so frustrated, Darren Ferguson. They failed to defend the set piece. I was watching Moore all the way he started on the right corner of the 6-yard box. It was a clever run that he made, because he knew that the ball was going to go over his head and maybe would be knocked back across the face of goal. And he timed his run to perfection, and he just couldn't miss from, what, 3 yards out?
Yeah, I mean, it went over everyone's head. And I'm telling you, when you're defending those situations and you sort of fly at that ball, you're probably thinking, we're in pretty good nick here. Even if Brannigan gets something on the ball here, he's probably only going to be able to get a slight touch, and we'll be able to deal with it at the front of the 6-yard box. He did miraculously to do what he produced there.
Burrows with a cross at the other end towards the far post. That's a really important header from Bennett, because Mother Seal was lurking there, and it was a really inviting ball in. They do have a throw in, Peterborough, over on the far side. They are going to have to take it at the second time of asking. The referee wasn't content that the initial throw was taken from the correct spot. Brilliant atmosphere inside the Kassam Stadium now. Oxford, who've never won a single playoff game as an EFL club, are only 35 minutes away from changing that statistic. They lead 1-0 here on Talksport 2. Up the Football League we go. That's the cry from the home supporters. Moore, the goal scorer, stepping away from the attentions of Mothersill, who still has had to plough a very lone furrow for much of the evening. The former Chelsea youngster. Darren Ferguson stands, arms folded, on the edge of the technical area down below us. As the ball is pinged into the feet of Harris, he does well to control that actually and keep possession. And he's going to be switched onto this near side the right. Dale in the pink footwear with the opportunity maybe to have a run at Burrows. It was really good defending from the Peterborough Academy product. The cry of yellows rings around the Kassam. Here's Murphy looking at running at Katongo again. He stands tall. Well, I think in the end he's disappointed that the throw-in has gone Oxford's way. 1-0 to the home team. Barnsley couldn't make home advantage tell last night as they lost by 3-1 against Bolton Wanderers. Bolton, you'd feel, with 1 foot in the final, though we'd be foolish to say that after what happened to Peterborough against Sheffield Wednesday a year ago. And Oxford with the upper hand here, live on Talksport 2 under slate grey skies overhead. And the ball is at the feet of their goalkeeper Cumming, plays it into midfield. And it's chipped forward by the goal scorer Moore. His pass is intercepted on halfway line by Burrows. They need a hero now, Peterborough. Burrows in the left back position. Scorer of 2 goals at Wembley as they beat Wycombe in the EFL Trophy final live on Talksport 2 a few weeks ago. Owen runs himself into a bit of a cul-de-sac and concedes a throw 10 yards inside the Oxford half. Burrows ready to take it. We're going to see another change here for Peterborough. Darren Ferguson certainly not wasting any time in getting subs onto the pitch. And Ricky J. Jones is going to come on and replace Mothersill, who has had a difficult night, Sam Parkin. You've been there as a centre forward when you're leading the line on your own and not getting too many opportunities. Yeah, how will he be feeling?
Disappointed. The team, I think, was deep from the outset. There was a little bit of a detachment between him and the rest of the team, and there was a few 50-50s which he fought for admirably, but couldn't really get the better of the 2 physical Oxford United centre-halves. He's a young lad developing his game, playing first-team football, so yeah, he'll be disappointed with how things have gone, but Jay Jones has played the majority of the games up to this season. It's only latterly that Mothersill has started being a choice from the outset, so Jay Jones comes on with a bit more experience than Mothersill and immediately there a little bit more assured with his first couple of touches. 13 goals he scored, Ricky J. Jones, over the course of the campaign. He's going to try and give Peterborough a focal point, and straight away they look to have more cut and thrust in attack, but Burrows there slapping the turf in frustration as he puts a tame shot straight into the arms of Cumming. Yeah, it was an injection of pace, wasn't it, from Jay Jones. Randall linked the play well, and probably the first time, to my recollection, that Harrison Burrows has got anywhere near the goal, and his numbers have been incredible this season. You expect him to be flying up and down that left-hand side, and maybe that is, again, a sign of a slightly more conservative Peterborough United this evening.
I think you also have to give a bit of credit to Owen Dale. He's not been as eye-catching as Murphy on the other wing, but he has done a good job at keeping Burrows pinned back inside his own half. Dale on this right-hand side, the former Portsmouth man.
Yeah, I'm just expecting one of those fullbacks to go at all times, really. Katongo doesn't. He holds his position invariably, so that should allow for Burrows to join in, especially when you've got the 2 out-and-out holding midfield players that Peterborough United have gone with this evening and throughout the majority of the season. You know, he just hasn't got forward to great effect. Probably partly down to Oxford's setup, as you say, but maybe just tactically a little bit different tonight from Posh.
Oxford 1, Peterborough 0, 61 minutes gone. Here's Burrows trying to raid down the left-hand side and just guilty of tugging the shirt of Dale. It was quite clever play, actually. Dale just getting himself between Burrows and the ball and almost drawing the free kick in the right back position. The goalkeeper coming, trots slowly across to take it. Coming all in green, very gingerly places the ball down to take this free kick. Mark Harris the target, but over his head and collected by Jed Steer, the Peterborough goalkeeper. The goal that divides the two teams, Elliot Moore heading in from a corner. They'd already conceded more goals from set pieces, Peterborough, than any other team in the division. Another to add to that number this evening here on Talksport 2. You have to say, from Oxford's perspective, it was a really well worked move. And here's Kieran Brown playing the ball out to the left hand side, and Murphy looking to run at Katongo again, but in the end he plays it back to the edge of the area. And here is Moore. And now Cumming tries to switch the play out to the left hand side. He was put under pressure by Randall and miscued the clearance, so it's a throw in for Peterborough, not too far shy of the penalty area over on that far side. And they've played it all the way back into the posh half of the field, and then it's clipped out towards Mason Clark. Neat bit of control from him, side footing the ball down from the sky. He's got it back now. Mason Clark plays it into the feet of Randall with those socks rolled down to the ankle, Jack Grealish style. And here's Knight now stepping up from the back, out to the far right hand side, and Puku. Chance for Katongo, maybe to cross. He disguises it and plays it back into Puku. And then Puku's deflected effort with the cross from the wide position loops kindly into the arms of Cumming, and it stays Oxford 1, Peterborough 0. Yeah, the first sign of a response, really. They continue to probe Oxford in the aftermath of that opening goal, but Peterborough United with Jade Jones on now and looking sprightly. There's certainly an opportunity to salvage or get themselves a goal this evening. I don't think they'd be too deterred by going back to London Road just a goal behind. This isn't the worst outcome, obviously, especially when you think back to last season and the roller coaster that must have been. So yeah, not too much between the two sides, but Oxford United goal to the good and probably still looking the more threatening. Yeah, I think they've been the more composed team over the course of the more controlled of the two sides. We've played 64 minutes and it is Oxford leading, courtesy of the goal from their captain Elliot Moore. And they have a throw in midway inside the Peterborough half, over on the far side, the left. The ball played down towards the corner flag. Murphy loitering dangerously on the edge of the box. He drills in a shot from a long way out, which is well blocked by Josh Knight. And they're going to build from inside their own half here. Oxford, Moore, the goal scorer, forward into Rodriguez in the centre of the park. And here's Murphy trying to isolate Katongo, back into Rodriguez again. Little chip ball from him towards the far post, but well dealt with by Burrows this time, and he's got the opportunity to continue his run. He just never got the ball under control, and sliding in with a challenge with Stevens, and Peterborough have a throw right in front of Des Buckingham, the Oxford manager. What have you made, Sam Parkin, of the response from Peterborough to falling behind? Well, pretty lacklustre, really. I think Jade Jones has come on and added a little bit more mobility maybe down the middle. Looked sharp when he's received it, but yeah, still quite cagey, isn't it, either side of the goal. Maybe a flashpoint coming here. Yeah, and there's a little off the ball tussle there. Burrows involved, so too was Tyler Goodrum, and I think again it's just a sign of frustration from the Peterborough man that his side haven't really been able to impose themselves
Yeah, it was Stevens who felt that he went to ground a little too easily there, Harrison Burrows. It was Goodwin who came in, and there was the suggestion maybe of a stamp there. I think that's what Harrison Burrows was saying to the fourth official, who was locked in conversation with someone on the Peterborough United staff. But
they need to keep their heads though, don't they? Still a long way to go in this tie. Only 67 minutes gone in the first leg. Oxford leading 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, they need to keep their heads, but possibly an Oxford United player guilty of doing something a little bit foolish there, and in the position they're in,
we don't have the benefit of TV replays up here in the press box. Certainly Burrows far from happy with whatever went on. You are listening to Oxford United against Peterborough in the EFL League One on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Into the final quarter of this first leg. Oxford with the precious lead, but the ball is going to be crossed into their penalty area, and it's a towering header away by Elliot Moore. It's been a real dominant display from the skipper. Here's Mason Clark though in the left wing position, wriggling away from the attentions of the Oxford defence, and then the shot straight into the arms of Cumming by Cipriano. Very tame effort in the end, but good play from Mason Clark, and we've probably not really seen him to his full capability over the course of the opening 68 minutes.
No, he's been incredibly quiet for his standards. That was a nice touch from Cipriano, excellent awareness. Rodriguez was arriving at pace to close him down, put him under a little bit of pressure, and he just rolled him, really opened up the space so he could try and bend one. But as you said, it was very, very comfortable for Cumming. I think that's just possibly the second attempt on the target throughout the proceedings. So yeah, very subdued as an attacking force.
Unusually for Peterborough. Here's Collins going up through the gears, playing the ball out to the right hand side, and Puku, he's into the penalty area, gets it onto his left foot, leaves a defender on his backside. Could have maybe got the shot away, but again was a bit hesitant and played it out to Collins, and a bit of the momentum has gone out of the attack as a result of that. Here's Mason Clark, left corner of the 18-yard box, exchanging passes with Burrows, and there are 3 Peterborough players inside the area. So it's laid out to Collins just on the edge of the box. Burrows with a delivery, and again a brilliant header away by Moore. Captain fantastic for Oxford so far in both boxes. And that powerful clearance has got the Oxford fans on their feet again. Here come Peterborough though, left-hand side with Burrows, almost level with the penalty area. Gives it to Mason Clark, who's just dropping a little bit deeper, and he plays it back towards the halfway line. And the fleet-footed Edwards. Here's Katongo. Good spell this from Peterborough in the last couple of minutes. Can they create a scoring opportunity? No is the answer, because the ball didn't quite carry through to Ricky J. Jones, and Cumming again collapses and collects possession inside the area. 1-0 Oxford lead.
They're starting to have a little bit more of the ball in the final third. Josh Knight there with a good looking pass into Cipriano. I don't know if it just deflected off an Oxford United player. It just took it away from Cipriano, who'd taken up a nice position in a little pocket of space behind Oxford United's midfield. So yeah, just connecting with a few more passes, looking a little bit more comfortable, certainly looking more dangerous since Poku and James Jones have entered the fray.
I think Oxford are readying their first couple of changes. It's going to be a double substitution from them. Ruben Rodriguez is replaced by Josh McCracken, the former Chelsea youngster. And we're also going to see Marcus Brown coming on for Owen Dale. What's the thinking, Sam Parkin, behind those two changes?
Well, I don't think Rodriguez has really been able to have a great effect on the game. Josh McEachran, different type of player, I would suggest. Likes to operate slightly deeper, obviously really secure in possession, so that will probably give them a little bit more stability, maybe less of a goal threat. And Brown, that's like for like on his day, very similar to Murphy on the opposite flank, can be incredibly direct, good technician as well, capable of getting you a goal.
Brannigan whips a free kick into the penalty area, and It was put goalwards by Harris. It will go down as a shot on target, but was never really troubling Jed Steer.
Yeah, McEachran's going to come in there alongside Brannigan, so that is quite
a defensive change.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah, unless Brannigan's going to stay slightly higher now, but McEachran invariably wants to be the deepest. He wants to be the one circulating the football. We'll just wait and see where Brannigan's going to take up his position now. Now he's pushed on one, so it's the same setup, just a slightly different role for him.
Oh, the ball given away there by Josh Knight, seized upon by Harris, but he can't quite find the substitute Brown. And then Harris has been adjudged to have fouled Ronnie Edwards. He clearly doesn't agree with the decision. Lots of gesticulating going on there.
Yeah, he's a pest, Harris, but Peterborough not really learning there, because they got away with the first one. There was a little bit of contact and the official let it go. Unfortunately, Ronnie Edwards, for his sake, the challenge from Harris was a little overzealous and they get the decision, but they're just taking one or two unnecessary risks.
You're listening to Oxford 1, Peterborough 0 here on Talksport 2. We've got 18 minutes, this fascinating first leg of the League One playoff semi-final to go. Elliot Moore's goal divided the two teams, but here's Mason Clark striding towards the area. And it's cleared away this time by Brown, and he whacks it all the way into the opposing box where it's collected by Steer. And he hurriedly bowls it out to Ronnie Edwards. If it stays this way, it is going to be very delicately poised heading into the second leg on Wednesday night, live of course here on Talksport 2. Here's Randall, midway inside the Oxford half, and he finds Mason Clark on the edge of the box, cuts in on his right foot. The shot charged down by Stevens, but he's got again Mason Clark here and a chance to cross into the area, steered away by Moore, who claimed he was being fouled. As he made that clearance, the referee had a good view of it and awards the free kick. I think he's had a good game, Lewis Smith. Let the game flow, got the big decisions right.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little soft for my money. The centre-half's got to expect there to be a little bit of contact. The referee's got to expect forward players to be putting the defenders under pressure and just having a little grapple with them. So Moore was in control of the situation there, as he has been throughout the second half. He's repelling absolutely everything that's going into the Oxford United box, and he's going to expect to be pressurised.
It's a long punt upfield by Cumming. One back down by his own left corner, flagged by Burrows, but they've been able to play their way out quite neatly here, Peterborough, and Oxford have committed bodies forward. Here is Puku on the right-hand side. He had Ricky J. Jones ahead of him, but he instead looks for Randall. It's cleared, and it picked up just on the edge of the centre circle by Hector Cipriano. Peterborough with 15 minutes plus stoppage time to find the equaliser and go back to London Road on level terms for the second leg. You feel they will get at least one big opportunity between now and the end of the 90. Might come here, cross into the area. Ricky J. Jones flung himself at the ball, but it's hooked up in the air. Not too much distance on the clearance, and Peterborough unhappy that a free kick has been awarded for a foul by Puku. Boos from the travelling fans over on the far side of the ground, and a chance for Oxford to take their time from the free kick. And the goalkeeper Cumming comes out to the edge of the area. Only once in the last 17 seasons has the team who finished in 5th place in League One gone on to win promotion via the playoffs. Oxford finishing in 5th in the regular season, Peterborough 4th. But it's the home side who lead by a goal to nil here. Little slip there, unfortunate for Brown, the substitute, allows Burrows to come forward, and here's Mason Clark now corner of the penalty area, cutting in again from the left-hand side onto his right foot, and then plays it into midfield and Cipriano. Here is Mason Clark once more, trying to get himself into shooting position. It's well blocked by Brown, atoning for his initial error. And then Ricky J. Jones just hung out the leg as Oxford looked to counter, and the referee is going to show the first Peterborough yellow card of the evening.
Mason Clark, I think it is. That probably sums up his evening. There was a pass on to Harrison Burrows, wasn't there? Turned it down, came in field, into bodies, and then let fly, I think, on 2 occasions when it really was not on. Should have just shifted it square, and the frustration told, didn't it? With a poor challenge and a yellow card in his direction. So yeah, not really happened for everyone. Clark, we gave him the big gave him the big build-up, and he's had one of his poorest games of recent memory, I would say.
We're going to see Billy Bowden come on here, replacing Tyler Goodrum. You were particularly impressed with Goodrum in the first half, Sam.
Yeah, good technical little player. Maybe just faded somewhat, and Bowden is a very similar type player, capable of the spectacular, good feet, good ability. Yeah, always someone that can impact a game off the bench.
77 on the clock. Oxford 1, Peterborough 0. Here's Randall running towards the Oxford penalty area, playing out to Puku on the right hand side. Back to Randall. Good move this. Can he find a teammate? Yes, he can. It was a tame effort in the end from Ricky J. Jones, just from the corner of the 6-yard box straight into the arms of Cumming. It was a neat move, Sam Parkin, but lacking in end product.
Yeah, really good move. Puku very direct, dynamic, and don't see Randall running beyond too often, but darted beyond the centre half, got to the byline. I thought it was good movement actually from Jay Jones, and then you're looking for a little bit of luck there, because it's kind of instinct that takes over. He's running at pace, he just had to try and steer it first time towards the target. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the direction away from Cumming, but certainly a bright moment from Posh.
And it will give them hope that they can create 1 or 2 decent openings in the final 12 minutes plus stoppage time. Peterborough trailing by a goal to 0 here on Talksport 2. The first leg of this League One playoff semi-final. For those of you just joining in, a reminder early today in the Championship, Ipswich sealed their return to the Premier League. They beat Huddersfield by 2 goals to 0. Oh, lovely ball forward and plucked neatly from the sky by Mason Clark, and he lays it up to the edge of the penalty area. Puku didn't meet the strike cleanly enough, but he has at least managed to win his team a corner, only their second of the game, Peterborough. Brilliant control from Mason Clark to bring that ball down from the sky initially. Josh Randall stands over the dead ball on this near side, the left, and he will play it in right-footed. Referee just spotted a bit of pushing and shoving there. Ronnie Edwards involved, so too Brannigan. Here comes the corner. Randall with the delivery, deep towards the far post, but a bit too deep really, and the referee, having spotted the initial pushing and shoving, is going to award the free kick to Oxford. And I think there's an increasing feeling, Sam Parkin, amongst the travelling fans, and probably Darren Ferguson down below us as well, that these 50-50 calls are starting to go against Peterborough.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on there. I don't know why the referee decided to blow up for that. The ball looked like it was sailing out to touch on the far side in any case, so yeah, a little bit pedantic there when there's so much contact either way.
Oxford supporters trying to sing their side over the finishing line, but still a full 10 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here on Talksport 2. Darren Ferguson won't be hitting the panic button just yet. Peterborough have the ball inside their own half. Knight and Edwards, the 2 centre-backs, just exchanging passes. Certainly none of the travelling supporters are heading for the exits as yet. On this warm Saturday evening, as Edwards comes forward over the halfway and finds Burrows. Mason Clark back to Burrows once more. Oxford have got everybody, even Harris, back inside their own half of the field as Peterborough Play a bit of keep ball. Edwards into Mason Clark, but he's been out-muscled there by Bodin. Don't keep the ball for very long though, Oxford. And here's Poku finding Cipriano. Cipriano forced into a wide position, but still manages to win the corner for his team.
Yeah, asking a few more questions now. Harrison Burrows has certainly pushed on down the left-hand side a little bit more aggressively in the second period. From Mason Clark going inside, receiving it on the half turn. Lovely pass amongst it there from Poku into Cipriano as well. So a little bit more sprightly, a little bit more intelligence about the movement.
They've conceded from a set piece. Can they score from one? Well, that was half a chance. Josh Knight let the ball sail over his head. It was Ronnie Edwards in the end who nods high over the crossbar. The two centre-backs proving a handful there. It is a goal kick for Oxford United though. And Edwards looked up to the heavens in frustration at not making more of that opportunity on a night when clear-cut chances have been in short supply. Long punt upfield from Jamie Cumming, the Oxford goalkeeper, but it's going to come straight back with Mason Clark scooting down the left-hand side. There was a bit of a coming together with him and Finlay Stevens. The ball is out for a Peterborough throw, and Harrison Burrows trots forward quickly to take it. 83 on the clock, Oxford 1, Peterborough 0. Edwards playing the ball into the centre circle, and Cipriano. Do you sense, Sam Parkin, that Oxford are content to go into the second leg with a 1-0 advantage?
Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? Peterborough United are pressing now, freshened up.
Mason Clark again cutting in from the left-hand side, feint to shoot, and then plays it out to Burrows. Low delivery into the box, and well defended again by Moore, the goal scorer. Oxford fans a bit frustrated that their team aren't able to keep possession for any prolonged period of time. And here's Josh Knight in the centre circle for Posh.
Don't really have any other forward options just to freshen things up. Mark Harris puts so much into every game that he plays. He seems to be just a little bit fatigued now, so getting that little squeeze on is not evident at the moment.
And there's space for Burrows. He's been found by Randall. Burrows with a low delivery again. Cleared back to the defender who shoots, and it was an awkward one for the goalkeeper. Still alive in there. And then given away by Mason Clark. Not convincing from Cumming. Randall with a scoop delivery. Good header away by Moore, and he's gone down holding his face. Peterborough fans fuming that the referee has stopped play. That was a good opportunity, wasn't it, for Harrison Burrows? Couldn't quite squeeze the ball beyond Cumming at the near post.
No, and it's on his swinger, and I still think he's got to try and work that towards the far corner. A little bit rushed, lacked real technique, and therefore it went towards the near post. And Cumming, you're always going to be favourite at that side, and despite not being able to clutch it, it was quite a comfortable save for the big goalkeeper.
It's as close as Peterborough have come though to getting this equaliser, and we're into the last 5.5 minutes of normal time at the Kassam Stadium. Floodlights beaming brightly. Oxford might just feel that Wembley Arch is a bit closer in range now. Here's Poku though, into the penalty area. Oh, and Ricky J. Jones, I think, was trying to step over the ball, knowing that there were Peterborough players in a much better position, but he just couldn't get out of the way quickly enough, and it bounces off his standing foot and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that Poku has shown enough in his second half. That'll mean he'll start the second leg. I mean, that's not even a debate. He's been really sprightly last couple of minutes as well, really direct, and I think you're right, he's got two options there, because I think the ball's slightly behind him, right? So he can jump over it, which he tried to do, struck his leg, and it would have been a tap-in had he missed it. Randall, I'm sure, would have put it home at the far post, or he tries to flick, and I think that was on as well. There was real pace on it.
Was he in two minds almost?
I think he's trying to get out of the way of it. Thought when he was arriving, is he just going to just flick that with his right foot behind his left and try and steer it towards the far corner? I think he just opted to try and step over it, which is another good option with Randall well placed, but unfortunately just got in the way of it.
One or two in the home sections taking their leave. Oxford with the slender 1-0 advantage, but Peterborough have been probing in the last 10 minutes or so in search of an equaliser. They've got a throw in front of their own fans over in the far corner, and that will be taken by Katongo.
I think we've seen from Jay Jones there's a real athleticism there, real mobility, good technique outside the box, but it's just that composure in it and probably decision making at the moment when he's presented with opportunities, and I think that probably has been his season. Despite a decent return of goals, there's plenty more that has gone begging.
Here's Randall driving at the Oxford defence once more, then playing it out to the left-hand side, and Collins. Here is Cipriano just on the edge of the centre circle. Peterborough running out of time here. 87 minutes played. They trail 1-0, and as Poku looks to knock the ball beyond Bennett there, the Peterborough fans wanted a free kick, but throw-in is the decision. Peterborough, who were on a run of 5 wins in 6 before ending the regular season with a defeat and a draw. They did make a lot of changes in the game that they lost, which didn't go down particularly well with the Posh supporters. They still had an outside chance then, mathematically anyway, of going up automatically. Darren Ferguson, I think, was already planning for the playoffs. Here is Collins. You feel it will be attack against defence for the final 2 minutes plus stoppage time. Arguably Peterborough's most dominant period of the game. Ball is played too far in front of Collins, but Burrows did well to keep it in play on this near side. And then it's played back to Cipriano, who knew he was under pressure from Brannigan, so slides the ball back into the Peterborough half, and Edwards. And Edwards now out to Katongo. And a scoop ball out to this near side, and Burrows can't control it. It's going to be a throw in for Oxford. And they are closing in now on the finish line, Sam Parkin, certainly as far as this first leg is concerned.
Yeah, Peterborough are pushing, aren't they? I don't think there's large amounts of panic by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll be disappointed with the level of their performance tonight. I suppose after the 5-0 relatively recently, it's not a disaster by any stretch, coming to a team in form and losing by the solitary goal. But Oxford, I think, have managed it really well. They've defended well, resolutely. They've been tested last 10-15 minutes. The substitutes have undoubtedly improved Peterborough United, but it's been a pretty professional performance from the home side. A goal from a set piece, and structurally, defensively, they've looked the part, so it's all set up wonderfully well if this is the way it's going to finish.
It will only be their second win in the last 9 meetings between the two, but it'll be their second in quick succession as well, on the back of that 5-0 victory that Sam was alluding to just 21 days ago.
I mean, these are games you get in the first legs, and it feels like we've seen this game multiple times. Not a great deal between the two sides, a little bit conservative. A set piece at the moment deciding the outcome of tonight, and both teams now, yeah, it'd be lovely for Peterborough to get a goal, don't get me wrong, but ultimately both teams will end tonight in a dressing room thinking we've got a great chance next week, a hell of a chance.
11,125 in attendance as 3 added minutes are indicated. Elliot Moore has just been announced on the giant screen to our left as the sponsors man of the match. I'm not sure that Sam or I would argue with that. He's got the goal. I think he's been defensively superb as well, made some really key interventions.
Yeah, I think even if a forward player had got that goal, we'd still probably be talking about a defender being the pick. It's been one of those evenings really, but both centre-halves. I've liked Brown actually on the ball as well. He shows good quality when he's stepping out. That was in that first half when it was kind of just meandering, neither team been able to get a strong foothold. him breaking out with the ball, breaking lines and then striking nice direct passes to teammates. That was a bit of a feature of the game. So they've complemented each other well, defended their box expertly. Big reason as to why they've got the advantage.
And Peterborough do have a goal kick. We've got 2 added minutes remaining. They're going to try and get the ball forward quickly here and conjure one last opportunity to go into the second leg on level terms. Sliding in with Stevens up against Burrows. That's been a battle that's been developing in the closing stages here. And Burrows with a throw in for Peterborough. 90 seconds of stoppage time to play. Oxford 1, Peterborough 0. On Talksport 2 as the ball is scooped forward looking for Mason Clark, and Moore with no option but to head it behind. They've got a corner, Peterborough. Pretty much the last roll of the dice as far as this first leg is concerned. And it will be Josh Randall who comes across to take it. Some nerves amongst the Oxford United fans. They know how important a lead is going into that second leg. Randall to the edge of the penalty area. Interesting choice. And it's Archie Collins who I think was in 2 minds about whether to try and go for goal there or play it back out to Randall. In the end it is recycled to the corner taker. And he scoops it towards the far post, and it's stabbed away by Marcus Brown back there defending. Well held up by Harris, and he's been bundled over. But it's Murphy who's gone down. It's a yellow card for the challenge by Collins, but more importantly Sam Parkin. It's a free kick for Oxford, and probably that will see them over the line.
You would think so, yeah. He was being pressurised, wasn't he, Murphy? There 2 Peterborough United players around him, but did well just to shield it, and then a little bit of skill when he must be tired out there, just flicked it into the space and brought crashing down. So that should just about be that. It's been a thoroughly professional performance, you would say, from the home side, and they'll have to do something very similar at London Road. They'll have to defend in the manner that they have done to try and get through to Wembley.
The full-time whistle sounds. Not as eye-catching as the 5-0 league win 3 weeks ago, but in many ways an equally impressive performance from Oxford in the pressure situation of a first leg of a playoff semi-final. They've defended resolutely, and they've taken the one big opportunity that came their way. Elliot Moore, the captain, heading in from a corner to give Oxford their first ever win in a playoff tie in the Football League. Peterborough will believe they can still turn it around at London Road on Wednesday. This tie delicately poised. And Sam Parkin, it is going to be an absolute cracker of a second leg.
It is, and I think the Peterborough United fans are applauding their players because they know how good they can be at home. They know how many goals they've got in the team, and tonight was a rare off night, but if they start well, they can score goals in flurries, they can blow teams away. So that's why they're relatively positive, even in defeat. And for Oxford United, just a continuation really of what has been, over the course of probably 2 months, a really exciting end to the season for them. And I thought defensively really good, and post slightly more threat going the other way. So I think that's bang on the right result from what we've seen from those 90 minutes.
6 wins in their last 9 now for Oxford, who only smashed their way into the playoffs on the final day of the season. They're taking the ovation from their supporters. The Peterborough players went over and applauded their travelling fans as well. It's a strange situation where I think both teams will go into the second leg with confidence they can reach the final at Wembley. It finishes here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford United 1, Peterborough 0. My thanks to Sam Parkin for his expert analysis. Don't forget, more playoff action to come on Talksport 2 on Bank Holiday Monday. Crawley against Milton Keynes in the first leg of the League 2 playoff semi-finals. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff, followed by the first leg of Crewe against Doncaster at 5:30. Coming up now, we have live PGA Tour golf as we bring you round 3 of the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson from TPC, Great Ranch, Texas. Thanks for your company on Talksport 2.